kids, it's me, Toni Homeperm, the singing diva of Long Island. If you enjoy videos where you get to see me create a fabulous drag look, well then guess what? You've tuned into the right channel. Speaking of channels, before I tell you everything I need to tell you, who would have ever thought that my TikTok subscribers would be greater than my YouTube subscribers? Yeah, that happened this week, and it was a really big surprise to me. So if you're also a follower of TikTok, then please follow me on TikTok too. You don't know what you're missing. Now, today is a very special video. If you follow makeup trends and other influencers on YouTube, I'm sure that you have seen that a lot of creators are reviewing the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. Let me throw a picture of it up on the screen. I'm going to look at it as well on my phone, just so that we're both looking at it at the same time. And here we see it, the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. And what can I really say? It's a pastel palette. It's got some mattes, some duochromes, I think some metallics. It's a very typical Natasha Denona palette as far as the type of formulas that it has. But, you know, it's not really a palette color story that she's known for. Now, personally, I have a ton of pastel palettes. Let me grab a few of them right here. One of my favorites is this one, the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. Also, my Menagerie Pastel Pup palette. I also have the Creepy Cute palette. I'm not sure where that is at the moment. Another one that I have is my Chaotic Cosmetics Ice Cream palette. So, as far as pastels, I have a lot of pastel palettes. However, I tend not to really use them as much as my darker, grungier palettes, especially nowadays. I guess it's just sort of the trend in makeup. Those sort of more heavily pigmented, darker, grungier colors are really the it kind of thing as far as eyeshadow palettes. So it's almost sort of like, did she kind of miss the trend here with coming out with a pastel palette now? I mean, maybe this should have been like 2 years ago when everybody was really more into pastels. But we are heading into spring, and you know, you get into spring and people do tend to wear lighter, more pastel, springier colors. So I guess maybe it's the right time to come out with it. Now, with all of that being said, when I saw the palette, I knew there was no way I was gonna get that palette. I knew 100% I didn't need it. Either I already had the colors in my collection. Well, actually, I knew I already had all those colors in my collection, and I could easily dupe that color story with the palettes that I have. So let me throw up 2 pictures on the screen. On the top, you're going to see the swatches from Natasha Denona of the pastel palette, the ones that the brand did, and right below it, you're going to see my swatches that I did from my collection from various palettes. Oh, before I start describing all the colors and everything, let me just say, I found a lot of swatches online from different creators, and things looked very, very different across the board. I don't know if there were you know, if differences in lighting setup and things like that made a huge difference as far as the swatches. So I basically did the best that I could. I don't know. I don't have the palette, so it's not like I can compare swatch to swatch. I'm just going off of images that I found online on videos, and maybe they're close, maybe they're not that close. From what I could see, they look pretty close. Even better than that, I felt that I found colors in my collection that if I were putting a pastel palette together with the same color story, these would be the best eyeshadows to use. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's just get into comparing the colors from my collection to the Natasha Denona palette. So, the first one, and we're going from left to right, same as the colors on the Natasha Denona swatched arm. First one is Feather. It's described as a pastel lavender pink, and I found in my Beauty Bay Pastels palette the color Euphoria. The next is Zest, and that's a matte pastel lime, and I found, again, in the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, the color Serenity. Next is Airy, a matte pastel sky blue. I found in my Menagerie Pastel Pup palette the color Aquatic. Next is Duet, which is described as a duochrome lilac teal, and I found in my Chaotic Cosmetics ice cream palette the turquoise shimmer, and that looked to me to be the best dupe out of my collection. Moving right along, we have Limoncello, which is described as a metallic icy pastel yellow. I found from my Midas Cosmetics Lemonade palette the color Zesty, and it is a beautiful, beautiful, well, really, it's a metallic icy pastel yellow, so I don't think I could have gotten any closer. Next, we have Bubble, which is a matte pastel cornflower, and in the Menagerie Pastel Pup palette, I pulled the color Ice Cap. Next, we have the color Bellini, a pastel peach. I went back to the Beauty Bay Pastel palette and swatched the color Peach. Next is Starlet. It is described as a coral pink with golden peach. I pulled from my Chaotic Cosmetics Sweet Addiction palette a beautiful duochrome shimmer called Glazed. Next we have Adriatic. It's described as a duochrome bright turquoise and gold. I pulled from my Menagerie Pastel Pup palette the color Snowball, which is a beautiful, I think it's actually described as a trichrome, but it's a beautiful color, and I felt that would work good in place of Adriatic. Next is Brisk, a matte pastel mint, and back to the Pastel Pup palette, and I used the color Iceworm. Next is Dainty, and that is a duochrome sparkling pink with golden champagne, and I actually hopped over to I'm trying to pull it out as we talk, my Kaleidos Futurism 3 Astro Pink palette, and I used the color Plasma for that. Next is Bora, which is described as a matte medium lilac. I don't know. This one threw me for a loop because I saw so many different swatches where it looked so different and all over the place, but I tried to find something that would work, and so I went to my ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette, and that's one of their monochrome palettes. It's one of the purple ones, and I used the color Fan Fiction. Next we have Mini Frost. It's a sparkling metallic icy turquoise, and I just grabbed my BH Cosmetics turquoise palette from their Birthstone collection, and I used the turquoise shimmer, and I think it worked fine. Next we have Illusion, which is a duochrome sheer pink peach, and I pulled from my Pink Roses UK palette, from their Trick or Treat palette, the color called Velvet. And last but not least, we have Tulle, which is a matte bubblegum pink, and I went right back to the Pastel Pup palette and used their color called Cuddle. So there you have it, the swatches from Natasha Denona and my swatches from my collection, which I feel were really, really similar to the Natasha Denona color story. I actually feel that the shadows I curated out of my collection are better quality than the Natasha Denona ones. I tried to avoid watching any videos about the palette. I did watch Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, her video, and she was not happy with the palette. The shadow seemed very sheer, and I pulled colors from my collection that I felt were pigmented, shimmery, and that if I were buying that palette and I knew it was that color story, what I would want the shadows in it to be. I think, does that make any sense? I hope it does. So those were the colors from my collection that I pulled to try and dupe the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. And if that palette were like what I pulled from my collection, I probably would buy it in a heartbeat. But from what I've seen, and you can check out a lot of other YouTube creators, I don't think the palette is really like what I pulled from my collection. That being said, this is the look that I created if I had to use that color story, and I did so using the eyeshadows out of my collection that were most like that color story. And I think that's all I can really say about it, except for the fact that, if you like Natasha Denona and you like that pastel palette and you want to buy it, by all means, buy it. I'm not telling you not to buy it. This was merely an exercise that I do for myself. I see a palette that interests me, and I want to see if I have the same things in my collection, or perhaps, in this case, better, and just, have some fun with it. Also, I don't believe that any of the shadows that I pulled from my collection are formula dupes to the Natasha Denona formula. They were just colors that I felt were as close as possible to what I found in images online. Was that enough of a disclaimer? I don't really know. I hope it was. Anyway, with all of that being said, I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to rewind the camera back in time, and I'm going to show you how I created this look that I came up with by duping the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. Stay tuned. Okay, and I'm back. I glued my eyebrows down, base foundation, did new eyebrows, and they look pretty good. I think I'm getting if not better, then faster with the eyebrows, and at least good enough for a, quick, passable set of eyebrows. They'll work. They'll be fine. Okay, so I am trying to create a look duping the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette, and so as I was looking at the Natasha Denona palette and thinking, well, if I had that palette, what kind of a look would I create? Because I don't really use pastels all that much. But as I was looking at the picture of it, and I'm gonna look at the picture again right now, it seems like really the colors are so light. The darkest color looks to be the color Bora, and I'll throw a picture on screen of that one and indicate which one it is. And that looks to be like the darkest color in the palette. So for me to create a drag look that I would like, I would have to use that for the outside of the eye look, because it's the darkest color. So the color that I found that was closest to that in my collection, at least as far as different swatches that I saw from different pictures and things online, was from my ColourPop. It's my Pleasure palette, and this color, Fan Fiction? Yes, Fan Fiction. Although it does not look as dark as the picture. I don't know. I think there was some heavy Photoshop going on with the Natasha Denona pictures of the palette as far as saturation and things like that, because swatches that I saw did not look anywhere near as dark as that in the pan. But although, actually, let me correct myself. I tried to avoid watching any videos about this palette, just so I had like my own ideas. But I did watch Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, her review of this, and that was one of the things she said, that the colors weren't as dark when they applied as they were in the pan. So so maybe it actually does look that dark, but like swatches that I saw were not as dark as what it looks like in the pan. Anyway, it seemed to me like this color, fan favorite, was the best one to go with, and I don't even really know how I mean, it's not really all that dark. So yeah. Although compared to like swatches that I saw, like fan fiction, sorry, it seems to have a lot more pigment than the Natasha Denona Bora. So I'm just gonna have to try and see what we come up with. As I was thinking about it, I said, you know what, let me put a little bit of tape down, because I want to try and get as much definition as I possibly can, and I just don't know with this color story how much definition I'm gonna be able to get. I think it's gonna be an issue. So let's just see what I can do. So I've already primed my eyes with my P. Louise base, and we'll see what we get. I mean, I just don't know. There's no black in this color story. It's so light. I don't know what kind of definition I'm going to get on the crease either. I do have to say the pigmentation of this color fan fiction from the ColourPop Just My Luck palette is really good. One thing I have to say is ColourPop have a good formula, and they are extremely affordable, so you can't really go wrong with any of their palettes. And I have quite a few of them. Quite a few. I should probably do a video and just go over like all my ColourPop palettes. That would be fun, I think. But here's the thing. It's a beautiful color. And it's actually more pigmented than I thought. So maybe it's not as hopeless as I initially thought it was, because that built up really nicely, which I don't think, at least from Annette's video, I don't think it would have built up like this in if I actually had the palette. Actually, I think she did try to use the Bora Bora. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just Bora color. I want to say Bora Bora. It should have been Bora Bora, right? Not just Bora. Bora is a boar, but Bora Bora. No, that's something. She tried to use Bora to build up another shade, and it didn't work. She had no luck with it. It was pretty patchy. But this is pretty good. So let me just do the same on the other side, and then we'll blend Bora out with one of the other shades that I have duped to I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm gonna put Bora Bora on. I'm putting Bora Bora on, and then I will blend it out with one of the other lighter shades that I've duped from the Natasha Denona palette. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to blend it out, and I probably would have used the color Feather, and I will show you that color on screen. It's described as a pastel lavender pink, and the color in my collection that I found as a dupe for it is from my Beauty Bay Pastels palette, and it's this color Euphoria right there. So I'm going to use that to blend out Bora, which I'm using Fan Fiction. So sorry if this is getting a little confusing, but let's go in with Euphoria, which I am using to dupe the color Feather. I hope that makes sense. Oh, that's such a beautiful color. That looks really nice. Although maybe I should switch to a smaller brush. But the color itself, wow. Okay, let me just switch to something smaller. Yes, that's better. A little more control with that. That looks really nice. I just need to do some blending with the two, I think. So let me work on that, and I think I'm just going to cut the crease. So hold on. Okay, I'm back. I cut my crease. I laid down a little bit of my NYX glitter primer on this eye, and I'm going to go in with my dupe for the color Adriatic. I'll show you that one right now. And my dupe for that is from the, if I can get it out, the Menagerie Pastel Pup palette, and it is this beautiful, I think they call this a trichrome, this color Snowball. Look at that, look how beautiful. So I'm going to put that on the, mostly on the lid, and when we get to the inner lid, I'll explain to you what I'm doing there. But there it is, swatched. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if it's, I don't know how close it really comes to what's in the Natasha Denona palette, but it's what I'm going with. Can I talk today? I don't know. I mean, I have my little iced coffee that my husband got for me, so talking shouldn't be an issue, but you know, whatever. So glitter primer is down. I'm using my Kaleidos packing brush, and we're going to put that down on most of the lid. I don't think I've actually ever used this color, so I'm curious to see what we get, how it looks. I hope it's showing up on camera just how beautiful of a color it is. Oh, I think it is. I really do think it is. That's really such a beautiful color. And I doubt what is in the Natasha Denona palette can even compare to this, so I'm fine with having this instead of that. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Okay, and on the inside of the eye, I'm gonna go with my dupe for the color Limoncello, and I'll show you what that is. It's described as a metallic, icy pastel yellow, and what I found as my dupe for that from my Midas Cosmetics Lemonade palette, it is this color, which is called Zesty, and it's that right there. That's Zesty. Look at that. Look how beautiful. So let's see how that looks on the very... Should I swatch it? Yeah, look at that. Look how beautiful. I'm going to color switch my brush, and let's go in with Zesty right here. I really like how that looks. I mean, the lid is really, really shiny. So I'm pretty happy with that. I do have to just sort of clean up this outside edge, and definitely got to do a wing with this. But I really like what I've got laid down. So I'm just going to continue with blending things out, blending out that edge, and I'm going to do a little bit of a wing, and then we'll be right back to do the under eye. Stay tuned. Okay, I hopped back on just because I wanted to show you the wing I did. Here you can see, wing, and you can see it makes a huge difference with making the eye look uplifted and snatched. Here's the thing with like my eye, which is a very hooded eye, and if you have a hooded eye, you need to do your wing while you're looking straight in the mirror, and plan out how the wing should look, because you want it to look right when your eye is open and people are looking at you straight on. However, if you really examine the wing, you can see a lot of it is covered, and you have to really expand how you do the wing. Some people call it a whale's tail, or it's like a C. So it's actually it's sort of like an S, I guess. I don't know. There's all different ways you could describe it, but that's what I have to do in order to make a wing that looks like this when I'm looking straight at you and the eye is open. But I'm not really too worried about it. With this kind of a wing, I can angle my lash higher, and you're not really going to see like that it's kind of a crazy shape underneath the folds of the hood. But I just wanted to point that out to you. But I do really like how this came out. I haven't done a wing like this in a long time, and it is nice because I'm not blacking out the entire lid, and you're still getting to see like my faux lid area that I've created. So what I'm going to do is same on the other side. Come back, we'll do the under eye. Okay, I'm back. I did the wing on both eyes. I went to go over the wing with a little black shadow, as I always do, and I figured it was just sitting here, so I used some of Whisker from the Pastel Pup palette, and I got some awful fallout. It's not the fault of the powder. It's just so intensely pigmented. If you have that palette, if you're going to use Whisker on your eyes, definitely you just have to do your eyes first. It's just too pigmented to work with if you have your face already done. I actually had to remove some foundation in order to remove the black and how to reapply foundation. Not a big deal for me, but, you know, I'm sure, like, if you were doing a look and that happened to you, you would be pretty upset. I mean, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm just doing this for the video, so it doesn't really matter. With that being said, let's work on the under eye, and I'm gonna go back in with Fan Fiction at the outer edge. I think though I'm gonna go in with a different color towards the inside of the eye, just for fun. That looks pretty good. And then I think I used Euphoria. So let's go in with some of Euphoria here. And I just want to get a little bit minty, so I'm going to use what I found as a dupe for the color Brisk, and Brisk is the minty green, and I'm going to use from the Pastel Palette this color called Ice Worm. Yes, Ice Worm. It's a very beautiful minty green. I just because I want to put it right here on the inside of the eye. And I think I like how that looks. Something a little bit different. Okay, that's basically it for the eye. I'm just going to do the same on the other side. Definitely going to put some white in the waterline and hop off camera, finish the face, and I will be right back with the finished drag look. Hold on. And I'm back. And here it is, the finished drag look. What do you all think? Well, I have to be completely honest. I love how this look came out, and I thought for sure it was not going to work out today. I did not think I was going to get a look that I was this happy with. So before I tell you all my thoughts, let me describe what I did to finish off the look. Of course, there was my normal drag contouring and highlighting. For cheek highlight, I used my Kaleidos Star Surfer highlight. I love these Kaleidos highlighters, and I thought this would be good because it's sort of a soft pinky pastel kind of a highlight. And what else? Oh, blush. I actually went back into the ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette, and I used, what is that color again? Fan Fiction. This sort of pinky purpley mauve color, and I used that as blush, and I think it worked out really nicely to sort of help pull the look together. On the lip, I actually grabbed one of my, well, I think it's my only Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick, and that's in the color Vintage, but then I did a little bit of white ombre in the center with my Chaotic Cosmetics Ghostly Soul white, and I really think that the lip is almost a perfect match for the eye now, with the pink and the sort of pale lavender. Yeah, I'm just really happy with how the completed look turned out, and I feel like it's very spring, and we're heading into spring, and yeah, I'm just really happy with how the look turned out. I thought for sure it was going to be a train wreck of a look because the color story of the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette is so light. I just didn't think I would have enough depth, but kudos to me for using that color story and creating a really good drag look, in my opinion. I do have to say, however, from the swatches that I've seen other influencers do, I don't think that the Natasha Denona palette has as much pigmentation to it as the colors that I curated to be a dupe for that color story. And I in no way was trying to say that the colors that I pulled are an exact duplicate for the colors in the Natasha Denona palette. The colors that I pulled from my collection are not meant to be formula dupes for the Natasha Denona palette. They were just colors that I pulled from my collection that, from what I could see of things online and pictures, were a close match. And this is what I came up with. And like I said, I'm really, really happy with this look. I would have no problems going out on stage and performing with this. I think it really came together. I'm really, really happy with this look. I have to ask, what do all of you think about this look? Is it a good drag look? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, if you like this video, then please hit the like button down below. And as long as you're clicking on the like button, you might as well just click on over to the subscribe and the notification bell. I mean, they're right there in the same place. I mean, I'm saving you so much time and energy. I am doing you such a huge favor. I mean, really, come on. You can also always catch me in my weekly podcast, God, I'll Get You for That, Walter. That's the show I do with Tom Cat. We watch episodes of the 1970s sitcom Maude, which starred B. Arthur. We talk about the episode. We talk about how things were in the 1970s, how things have changed, and in many ways, how things have still stayed the same, but we do it with a lot of laughs along the way. There's also my internet variety show, Naughty or Nice, that I do with the horror diva Alexis Flame. We also have a complete line of Naughty or Nice merchandise, including the Naughty or Nice eyeshadow palette. The details for all the shows, the merchandise, everywhere you can find me, Toni HomePerm, on social media, it's all listed down below. Well, that's all I have for you today, kids. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing all of you again in the next one. Bye-bye.